Alright, hello YouTube. Hopefully everything goes alright with the recording. This is gonna be a tour of my two camps I've been talking about on my blog, one of which is in some dummied out wreckage of the space station from Van Buren, and one of which is a vault I built, themed after the cult, near Ingram Mansion, the mountaintop near it. This guy just went in, it is underground. I'm gonna be talking a lot about just all the little exploits I know as they come to me. First of all, a unique item spawns right here called Upgraded Motor. You want to pick that up every time you come through Monongah Overlook, because it's a misc item that, you know, it could vendor. It's valuable to people like me. More on that later, on unique kind of displayables and collectibles. So also, these two buried beer bottles, I'm going to do that. And, come here, stomp it into the ground. Yep. There's a third one somewhere in an aluminum can I don't understand how to knock down, but sometimes explosives knock them down. So, oh, you know what? There was something up on the surface to show you real quick. Probably the levitating... Oh, levitating skull is gone. Well, here's how to... Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Dogs ate it. Here's how to do levitating skull. Or levitating, whatever you like. Oh god, where's the module? Oh, okay. Okay, this is very simple, and there's more complicated versions of this I don't understand, but, anywhere you want something to levitate, like, okay, this banjo is something I place, so I'm gonna try and set the module on top of it. Doesn't really matter. Doesn't really matter, it's just trying to demonstrate. I'm not going to complicate it. Put the module down, put the item down, it levitates wherever the module was. You can elevate the module to adjust the height. So, you don't want to take your module underground necessarily, because if you destroy or otherwise lose access to your way underground, you will need this to heal your base. Also, sometimes a rock or something will get deleted by you placing stuff, and it'll work when you log out, and then when you log back in, your door will be broken, so that's something to watch out for. If one of your doors suddenly stops working, that's probably what happens. So we're going to go down into this vault I made.
I really should start my own garden.
Alright, so now we are down in my spooky base. Get a lot of through traffic, so we're gonna try to ignore them. I was wanted when I started this video, but a clown came and killed me, which would have been an appropriate start, but I wasn't recording properly, so... this is where those beer bottles fall. Sometimes they fall into this area, and it's, you know, it's not usual to see just like loose physics items in a camp, so that's fun. Plus, you know, beer bottles, diegetic. Someone here drinks. I like to, you know, make a storytelling environment. One of my tricks, for instance, is, like, I make areas you can't actually access that look like sealed off areas. Like, that looks like some hallway you can't get to. But in fact, oh.
Hello?
There's entire rooms in this place I just don't go to that I do have access to. Like, I don't ever go through that door. Big old room in there, ran out of the budget to decorate it. Okay. But yeah, you can see this is what's up. Also good to know, hay. If you stack it 2 stories high, it's exactly 2 stories tall. This is the edge of the property, so I couldn't put a wall here like I would have wanted, so... hay. There's the deepest chamber. Can I jump into it from here? No, okay. Yeah. These rocks are intangible, so you want to keep that in mind as you're designing underground. I talked in another video about how to get underground. You basically put something you can interact with on a mat and use it to place yourself under the ground on some, you know, floor that you built. With some doing, you can do it anywhere, but it's really maddening to do it in a flat place, and it's effortless to do it on hills. There's a lot of ways to get to the central chamber. This is the main way people usually go. Okay, main lobby out here. Some collectibles. This is another one of my deepest chambers, and I got one of these and one of these sticking through the wall so that I can access them from that room. I like to have a lot of noisemakers around so I can bother people. So yeah, this is my yard, as it were. And we're gonna go back and get into it the other way. I would have liked for this to be the main way. I had that way sealed off, but no one was finding it. Or people would drop in through one of my entrances I meant for me, and they wouldn't be able to find the vending machines. People are, like, kind of stupid, as you're gonna... just incurious, or... I mean, level design is hard. If you, like, fuck with all this stuff, you're gonna have a lot of people just turn their nose up at you know, fucking with you. That's why I have a cash register up top right now. You can't get into these places if you have power armor on, by the way. So this is sky access. So this is one of my entrances. Here's an innocuous back chamber. This is here for people who just get lost and don't find it. You can see this, like, hallway to, you know, places you can't get to. But what I've actually done is make a budget minimum suggestion of a hallway that you can see through by jumping. But, you know, I like to, if I spent more budget, you know, I could make it more of a stronger facade. But I wanted it to feel, you know, creepy and hostile and lived in. Formerly. I use this to mask this, like, kind of setup all has to be here because of the edge of this rock. If this wall wasn't here, it would just kind of be the facade of a rock from this side and invisible from this side. There's already some problems with that in this room. Like, this solid rock is not visible from the other side. So you just have to kind of design around the plot you choose. It gives it a lot of character if you do it right. So if you put inverted fireplace doors on fault walls, they can be, you know, pretty hidden, especially in a situation like this. So this is one of the things people find the most rarely. Okay, what? Well, I'll be dipped. Okay. So now we're in a hidden little room. It used to be much more intricate before I could levitate so that I could get out, but this is a one-way glass through which I can see players' usernames at least. I think weird stuff pops in and out, but I'll be able to see pieces of them, and they cannot see in here because it appears to be solid stone. I could even open up this door and most people still don't find it. If you're ever getting the thing where you can't toggle your walls, you know, if this isn't working, you just have to manually go over to walls and, like, toggle one of them around. It's a pain in the ass, but whenever that error is happening, that's what you need to do. We're also going to talk real quick about the replacement glitch, which isn't super useful, but it's a thing. So you say you're going to replace a wall, and then you move the cursor over something else you normally can't use that option on, and you can check out different, you can move it to these different things. But it will pop back as soon as it kind of queries what the item is for some reason. But you can temporarily build with these kind of, you know, attach things to this and place stuff in the negative space where it's going to be. So that can be useful to you, but trying to interact with it at all will make it poof back. You can do elaborate stuff with that, but it's a huge arcane pain in the ass. I know people probably want to see, like, more trappy stuff, but I don't really have that stuff out right now. It's, you know, really complicated and high budget, and I'm just kind of hanging out at this point. Mostly going to other people's camps and stealing shit. Alright. You can do a lot of fun stuff with replacing walls, like, I think this is just the 2 walls place, so you don't have to do anything complicated. If you want to look into placing more than 1 wall on 1 space, it's a thing you can do, but it involves blowing up the wall, and I'm not good at it. I think you have to use half walls as well for part of it. But you can mix and match stuff to get cool effects, like that boarded up doorway earlier or this. Which, this is supposed to be locked with a 0, so you enter it and you're wanted, so I can come kill you. Yeah. I used to have a big altar to Kaltoth here, but I accidentally deleted it trying to kill some Enclave asshole by floor deletion. Which is also why these are wooden floors. If you... I'll just, like, do it to myself. This is how that works, and it usually does fall damage. I don't know at this asshole. Can I help you? Okay. Alright, where was I? Sometimes that will kill you. Kind of a hangout space. So, here we're getting into my kind of personal quarters. I used to just have a doorway here, and a little lobby area, but I've expanded all that into one big room. So, I'm pretty proud of this. This is where it gets, weird. Alright, so. Privacy. So this is the restroom. There's a secret warp. One person has followed me and found. I don't think anyone's ever just found on their own, but we'll see how that's built in a bit. But yeah, you'd have to be up on this AC unit actually to be able to access that. I do have all the shelters because I'm weak. So this is lore. This is kinda my little panic room. Don't worry about that. That didn't used to be there. There was a bathtub, so I could just kinda imagine that the character was in here, you know, indefinitely. I did hide in here quite a few times, and I also just recently escaped today escaped someone using this, which, yeah, I watched him. I don't know how I watched. I know for yeah, I think he just didn't see me or something, or didn't register what happened, but he walked right past me and went out that door as I went into my, shelter entrance here. So that's placed on this mat, which was then just placed at the back of this room when that was a doorway, and then that switched off. Oh fuck. As for the tool stuff, this is a Fallout 1 and 2 thing. They have posters for tool, so my character concerned with kind of the paranormal and time stuff is fascinated by that. I don't have all of them up right now, but... Tool? Tool? So, I don't usually like to do this, but this is how I have it set up right now. That's how this shelter works. That secret entrance. The only way to get into my chamber right now is to drop in, which is not actually secure, but it's arcane. Got a scrap box halfway in. Not set up right now. I like to put these items I only really want one of for the sake of necessity in the walls so that I can use them in 2 rooms, like radiation shower in my closet. Yeah, spooky noise machine, huh? And there is one other way to get there if you levitate all the way to the top of this chamber. This stone is, of course, intangible. That's a foundation right there. All this is built down from one foundation, which is all you need. And once you get underground, you can replace another if you can place a foundation anywhere, you can delete the original. But it's finicky and fucky, and you get like those phantom stairs that can be deleted sometimes and stuff, and you have to wrestle with them. Also, shit, someone's probably like going crazy noticing this. This is a blueprint I made because this used to be how I did vertical spiral staircases. The blueprint can still be placed, but it is fucky. So if I do that, it'll place perfectly, but if I do it like this, it tries to stop me at this point. But it is not able to stop that there. There's a lot of weird stuff where it checks for context around the item, and once you start to be able to just peer Ulalilia-like directly into the math of it, you get a lot better at building. For instance, you often won't be able to build doors underground. I don't understand why. I think it's just... I get disappearing wallpaper as well sometimes. I think that's just because this is so complicated and it's a bunch of math all built off of that block. So you can't place doors underground generally. I'm gonna see if I can prove that. If it's just a clean place... Oh, it's been a lot better recently, but if you're ever having that problem, what you want to do is place a floor like that. Okay, I get it. One of these half floors.
I need to visit Flatwoods again sometimes.
And then the Nuka-Cola door. And then you will be able to switch it to the other kinds. If you don't have the Nuka-Cola door, it can't help you. I'm gonna go ahead. I think that's most of the stuff at this camp. Alright. I think that's honestly most of the stuff at this camp. In the overworld. But that is how you kind of make an overworld vault, is using all of this arcana. You also need a staircase for every level, but if you have the budget for a spare staircase, you can place one and then remove the original at any level, and if everything's like touching, you only need one per level, and you can cram them between floors and put them out of sight. I mean, if people can't fly, it's really... You should beat the game as soon as possible. It took me... I sat at the last mission for basically a year in Wastelanders. You should beat the game as soon as possible so you can do this. I don't know why the jetpack usually doesn't show up. I think the backpack just makes it not. There's weird equipment priority stuff. You can place headbands with the craftable hats. So the visor and the King Grognak headband with the Deathclaw cap and Treasure Hunter cap, which all look terrible, but those are the only locations I found that combinations I found that work. I think the halo might work with the mummy mask or something. I missed that. Okay, wait, there's two other things I want to... I built this way so that you can see the altar, the ritual, whatever, through this hole in the floor. I'm going to destroy this place anyway, I don't care. And you can enhance this sort of setup with tiny mats, which nicely go under the planks, and you could... Wow, that generator was worth 4 mats? Okay. Well, the other thing is this curtain. No, I lost some footage where I showed how it worked. It is right now it is a door. I will make it a window. When it was a wood window, it was too wide, but yeah, you get it. That is why those two things are there. So yeah. Oh yeah, one more thing about walls. This brick wall appears to be a window. It is in fact an elevated door. This is completely intangible. So you will, if you use this, you will need to you know, block it off. It's also, this is really basic, but if you weren't aware, if you have people like breaking into your base and you don't understand how it's happening, it's because you have something in view of a window, and breaking in is as simple as putting the mouse over it and using it. You can use this in base design to make like secret rooms where you have like a little limited area where you can select a chair and warp in. So without further ado, let's go check out the Van Buren wreckage, which I know y'all want to see, and I'll be talking a lot more about lore over there. Okay, here we are in the mire. Gulper off in the distance. It's worth knowing what's around your camp. You should place camps in areas you want to become more familiar with. You will find, like, you just keep finding stuff if you hang out in one space. It's pretty cool. I can't stand this line. I can't stand the way this character is written. Oh, she's fucking terrible. There's a unique event at Monongah Overlook at the other camp location where those chairs are that I've seen once with this married couple, and traders come through there occasionally. It's really cool. The way this game is just all emergent stuff is probably the, you know, most respectable thing about it, is the way it's just kind of a big engine for shit. So, okay. First thing to know is that you can look for stuff like this. There's stuff like the Zatans in the new Enclave Research Facility by upping the camera follow distance in your any settings. And let me equip a gun. Force the camera through the ground. It doesn't want to because there's shit under there. It'll try to place the camera far behind you, and it'll fight you about going through stuff, but you can make it do it. So you can scout for stuff underground. If you did this in this area and I had built into it, you would see that this is the same space station as Crater, and there's kind of a lot of it under here. That little pipe is the above ground exposed part, and then all of this is just down here, permanently smoking and flaming. This one gray part is like this. The camera's butting up against it. It has weird can't pass through it physics and stuff, and I guess some of this is tangible because I hung shit off of it. I don't even know though. I don't know what that's grabbing onto really, because I can pass through it. Oh, this part is hard. I can't. Right, but yeah, all of this stuff is intangible, and you can just build into it, and it goes for quite a way that way. Room for several rooms, so we're gonna get into it. This one has 2 entrances. This is an unmarked location right next to Gulper Lagoon. I looked for it quite a bit to the north after the first time I found it, trying to build this. Then I tapped out on my first 2 attempts to build here, because it is, like, advanced. I had to build a bunch of complicated scaffoldings and shit. A thing to keep in mind is that wherever your original foundation is placed, you're going to be locked to that, you know, those levels of elevation and that grid. So it might take a couple tries to get where you want it, and you're going to want to make sure you get it so that you can get your bottom floor along the bottom of the property and not have, like, wasted space. But yeah, these walls are things I've placed, and then all the weird wreckage is the space station. So should talk a little about, like, what this means, I guess. My character is affiliated with the cult. I imagine her to be using them. This game contains a time traveler who disappears at a location called Pylon B13. His name is Greebly, you can Google that. And if I'd use the other door. Is this the one I came in through? You see. You can put stuff in here. It seems to imply that Greebly, he uses the phrase skipping across timelines rather than traditional gravity-based time travel, which is a cute line. But I'm gonna go turn her off. I guess I did come in that way, because I haven't been down here yet. Very hidden. Most people don't figure it out. Gosh, what was I talking about? I'm sorry. A lot to keep track of. Someone's sneaking around. Okay. Why? Oh, I took her clothes. I'm wearing the outfit I had her in.
Good to be out of that waterlogged bunker.
I'm sorry you had to see that. Yeah, my hood and dress are black because of mods. If you see weirdly textured stuff, it's mods. Which I'll get into a little bit later, I think, if I have the capacity. What the fuck was I talking about? Yeah, it seems to imply Greebly went to the Project V13 timeline that canceled Fallout MMO. And the concept art for... The concept art for the city of... Actually, just the original crater wreckage before it was a city, had the Bomb 01 logo on it, the space station from Van Buren. And the Grafton monster appears to be Gehenna's from Van Buren concept art. And there's a character named Van Buren. They're doing weird stuff with that. They seem to be... implying that, like, these, in the way that Fallout 1 did with Wasteland, implying that these realities are, like, connected, but they're not the same. But you can get between them. And I'm just so down for it. Like, it's, you know, if that's not your jam, if that's silly, like, it is silly, but I think it's fun. So, my character's lore is kind of based around her trying to understand that and exploit it. Particularly concerned with the timeline for Fallout 1, where Rhombus is killed, and it leads to a new Dark Age. I really wish the series was that instead of whatever the fuck it is, because that sounds fucking awesome. Wasteland 3 and 2 also kind of contain Fallout stuff in a way that it is really cheeky. I don't want to go into the server room first. I'll talk a little bit more about this space now that I've wandered down to the bottom of it. This is the bottom of the thing. What do I have to say about this space? I haven't even shown you all of the places to crawl around in the vault itself. Bunker. I think I'm gonna, after I, you know, put this up, I'm gonna clear out this space and make it more of a diegetic, science-y, spacey thing. It's too similar to just what I was into at the time, which was having an underground front yard. It's cute though. Yeah, these are basketball goals. Like, I wish I could articulate some of the wall magic I did to make all of this work the way it does. This is another fake hallway. Just to make it feel a little bigger. I have a skylight, which I like to make sure you can always tell it's underground whenever you can see the surface. Reminds me, I have a window back at my other place I actually want to go back and show you. I'm really damn proud of that window, and I didn't dwell on it. I'll cut that in here. Alright, this is my closest thing to a panic room right now. Just this little vertical shaft where I can kind of tell what time it is. I have the utility room entrance up there. You can also access it. It used to be. I think you can. Yeah. No? Is that the room with it? I'm gonna knock this wall out. These glass panes work well with this wreckage. Well, okay. Yeah, when I had this open, people did find it like this. If you're building in this non-tangible stuff, you could just put entrances in spaces that make sense. This one doesn't really make sense at all, but it is a hidden little latch into the utility room. I think I'm gonna go ahead... Oh, and you can see the surface through this tube, which is really cool. I'm gonna fly the camera around in here just a little bit more, and then we're gonna go check out my shelters. Sometimes it's a little bit freer. It's really weird and arcane. Where am I? Okay. That's a good sign. I know where I am. No one's really found this chamber unless I led them there. So, I'll give you a good look at my kind of decor. What happened to my power? Oh, I remember. I knocked all my walls out. My utility room. Yeah. Not a lot to show in here right now. See, I think these are... Yeah. These are unloaded wallpaper textures. I don't know why that happens. You can jam roofs up into the ceiling. You could get a nicer effect than this, but I just wanted the... I just like this space to feel like janky, cramped storage. Looks like shit right now. I really like to make cramped, weird, little diegetic storage spaces, but I don't have a great one set up right now. I've kind of done these shelters a couple times, so I will show you some of my stranger junk. This is moist rad kelp. I don't really know where you get that. I found it in a vending machine. If you see people with weird items like this on display, they're probably dupes they got from quests, from logging in and kind of confusing the server and making it give them a second non-essential copy. It's Beckett's belongings, Lou's detonator, the upgraded radio, upgraded motor I mentioned earlier, and pipe pressure gauge or something. This is, I guess, in the arena where Radiation Rumble happens somewhere. All these super mutant gore parts. Most of them, some of them are missing. There's in the files. That's a captured frog, which T-poses, and that's a giant mask. Not really a lot to show in the lobby right now either. This space I'm not comfortable in. But I'll talk about some of the strange things you can do here. I like this. I don't really know what I'm implying here with you not being able to go back, but now I wanted this to all feel like crawling through fence, but I've only just started this kind of project. It's gonna be a weird kill room. Or something. Oh, a thing to know about foundations. This fucking sucks. I hate how blunt this is. If you put them like up out of the ground a foot, you wouldn't be able to just walk up to them. So the fucking head-ass solution they came up with is, if you can imagine a cardboard box with the top unfolded, those 4 exact rectangles coming off of the top are tangible. And you can always stand on them. And not only that, but you can get under them, and then, like, this is a whole invisible wall. You can also just run directly into them. Like, I can't proceed in this exact direction because that foundation is over there, but I can move here. So that's frustrating. And it's part of why that space is so cramped, is because I was trying to hide that that is the cost of using this as a wall. Not a lot else to show in here right now. You can use chairs placed back there to warp back there, and then you can place intricate lighting in there as you like. Be vaguely visible through stuff. You know, Tesla coils, anything blue and sparky and weird. I don't remember how I built that. It wasn't that hard. Yeah, this is gonna be the division between the two sides of this build. I don't remember what I was really going for here. I like to have kind of a big firing range where I can test arcing and explosive weapons, but it's not really that useful. An experiment chamber is like a cool thing to have, though. One good use for a chamber like this is you could build those flamethrowers. I think I'll just get into it in the bottom chamber, but use them to destroy stuff and practice the merge technique that involves doing that. I don't remember why I set this up this way. Now another character I'm setting it up so that next room looks like the lobby of the server room, and then that server room lobby, yeah, you know, those two rooms match up and you see it through the window, so it feels kind of contiguous. But I didn't intend to be here yet. I want to show off my atrium and my quarters. This is, I'm gonna nuke this chamber after I make this video, but this is, like, probably my coolest one. Oh, what? Oh, okay, cool. Popped in. Yeah. Starts off with that move. Big weird mosaic I made out of vertical panes. Just kind of experimenting. Just do weird little intricate stuff. You'll learn how these items can intersect and like to play together. Can't leave? Yes you can. You can crouch and access it. Yeah, going back to lore, faces like this start appearing in Fallout 4. They resemble Art Deco from earlier Fallout, but those are on the Cathedral and the Enclave oil rig. I think the Enclave oil rig is something. I think the Cathedral is a coincidence, but they're trying to retrofit this thing where there's like a cult, kind of like the Order of the Solar Temple and the government, who worship this radiation monster from Fallout 3, this old god, Necronomicon, etc. I'll unpack this in depth, like somewhere that isn't my house tour, but this is my office. One of my proudest moments is I was just standing here. I heard someone, you know, I saw the notification where someone came in and I was fucking around up there. But I just managed to stand there holding some big two-handed weapon. And, yeah, they saw this, they saw the drop-off, and they saw me standing there and they just shut the door. Just assuming I had some way to kill them, when I really didn't, but... Yeah. I love being an MMO cryptid, it's fun. That's what MMOs are there for. You can understand. You can comprehend what that is. Just by looking. It's nice to find, there's other items you could stick into a computer setup like this that would, you know, look like they fit. An inverted ice chest works. I think this used to be more... I used to have some kind of cool, complicated storage stuff here, but... Budget. The budget in here and in the quarters, I have this huge chunk left that I can't use. Like, it says I'm at basically budget capacity, even though I have that... looks like 10-15%. But, yeah... This I kind of, with these areas, kind of suggested... I wanted again to suggest to like areas you couldn't get to, but that aren't really quite there. A bit more over on the other side before I deleted it. Getting this carpet wall to wall is really hard and you can't quite do it, but you can get everything but the corners and then you can get one or two of the quarters. A good way to, like, fake this shit is to... I'm using different textures here, just whatever, but it's easy to have stuff get into that shit where it's in the same exact space so it flickers. If you have stuff on kind of two different elevations, but basically gridlocked, you can have them overlap without it being a problem. See, if this was on the same elevation as the others, that obnoxious shit would be happening, but it's not. More architecture that just suggests you can't get everywhere when you can. I like this. Maybe that's somehow useful to you. I'm sure if you were building something really industrial, you could get kind of creative with this idea. Maybe just have a long vertical shaft. I have something like that on another character. Just a huge drop down into a dungeon covered by a grate. This is an extremely elaborate little fake window that I spent too long on. But it is lit from behind by a generator, which is why it lights up. I like how this feels. This feels like Cake-is-a-Lie type, like some area of the vault that's not supposed to have humans in it. Like a utility kind of space. At one point this felt a little more complete, but I did want to have kind of an observation deck up here where you could imagine scientists were looking down. Quarters. This I like. Can't quite get in there. Unless you know what you're doing. That is not hard. Then this is based on the 5 skull altar from Fallout 3 on the back of the Kaltoth statue, where the figure seems to be depicted as a woman, but since then they seem to have gone masculine, which I'm way less into. But yeah, I think whatever this thing is, I think it's real, I think it is what creates ghouls, and I think it's the same thing as Adam. Which I think is, like, obviously the same thing as Titan from Wasteland 2. Which then they use in Frontier, which sucks shit. So it all comes full circle. When you think about it. There's a nice setup here. I want to do something out front of this setup with Mire Lurks, because I tie that into all the Kaltoth stuff, because, you know, Lovecraft or whatever. And because both Adamowicz, who designed Mire Lurks in the first place, and the person who made the model for Fallout 4, envisioned them as Adamowicz envisioned them as using tools and decorating tools and potentially having like priest-type figures, and then the model artist imagined them to have psychic control of the crab ones, and then none of that shit has come up. Although I think tying them into the Strangler Heart ties them into Kaltoth, because I think Kaltoth's the interloper, who is a seizing pair of wooden legs in this game, who look a lot like Harold. I think Bob is also the interloper. So, this is more architecture meant to imply you can't quite get there. You'd never be able to place that trap there, but if you place the thing, you know, and then you snap it in, then it'll work. There's a lot of shit like that you can do, where snapping stuff into place. Like that's the, you know, how people got stuff on shelves in the overworld. Some other trick for it I don't understand that's more elaborate. I did want to show off real quick. I found out you can get stuff up in the upper flower chamber of this room. I mean, you can get just the top of the streetlight up there, and I can't find a way to power it. So, that's the only way I'm aware of to get anything up there whatsoever. I've never broken through this glass, but I imagine you can. I have tried to break through this floor, and I could not do it. And that wall looks really thick. You could try at a window, but it would really fight you. I have gotten into the server room, so without further monkeying around. This I've only recently begun working on, but I've carved out a shape that's pretty interesting. This is going to be some kind of inscrutable torture chamber. I forgot. This is the mobile. This is a cool thing you can do. I'm gonna build stuff right there, maybe. A cool thing you could do with catwalks and vault doors is have these elevated spaces that go into the wall. Makes it, you know, makes it feel big. This is my big Kaltoth Mothman altar. I think this statue looks a lot like the Kaltoth statue from Fallout 3, so I'm gonna start fucking with it more. They imply that the Mothman cult is the same cult by, I mean, the whole interloper, like, story kind of suggests it, but also the altar, the Point Lookout cult builds altars just like the Mothman cultists. Yeah, that's about it. I have like 2 tricks off the top of my head I could demonstrate for you right now. The first... Okay, real quick, I like this thing. This is a cryo Crusader pistol. It's explosive, so it creates a whole splash area where it makes things slower. Really useful item. If you can nab that legendary. So, last I checked, cool thing about chainsaws, normally you can't sprint and use any kind of attack at the same time, but if you go third person, sprint, and fire the chainsaw, you can use it. It's totally functional as a weapon while you're sprinting the whole time. I don't know if they make high-level chainsaws. I only seem to find them level 20, and I think the mods just only exist out in the world. I don't think you can do them. But, the other thing is my version of the merge glitch. Alright. Now what you're doing here is you're gonna put something you want to merge something through. It's quite limited, so, you know, if you were gonna do this, maybe make this look like it's attached to a ceiling somehow. But you destroy the item that it is anchored to. Some stuff destroys in novel ways, worth experimenting with, but most stuff does not. Most stuff just disappears. some stuff breaks in some kind of really cool way that's interesting or useful. This might be an immortal box, so I guess good to know. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm pretty sure blankets can be destroyed. Maybe I don't. Maybe they can't be. Okay. This game. Okay. I'm pretty sure this is what I used in the other room. Although I didn't have that one set up to show you. Okay, the speed bag here. And repair the bookcase. Let's do another one for alignment. Just line it up, yeah, as it's being destroyed. That's probably the way to do that. So now what we have is a super mutant in a tube that we can punch. Alright, that's what I have to show you.